Hello, Light It Up TV family. We are here for another live episode of Talk About It Tuesday. So listen, it is time. We're going to give that first few minutes for you all to share the video out, for technology to let everyone know that we are live. Okay, that we are live, and I'm so looking forward to this wonderful podcast, the wonderful guests that we have on this evening. So listen, share it out. If you know military family, if there are even, I thought about teachers and youth leaders that actually work with military children. Listen, spread the word. Join us. I'm going to share it out also that we are live. I am sharing it out also that we are live. So let's see. And if you're joining, let us know who you are. If you're joining me, say hello to me. Let me know who you are. Another live episode of Talk About It Tuesday, and we're talking about military life and our children, our kindergarten through fifth grade children, the military life and our kindergarten through fifth grade children. Parents, the family, let us know who you are when you are joining. Let us know. All right, let me spread the word that we are live as well. Let's see. All right, I see some people joining in. Say hello to me if you're just joining me. Say hello to me. We are live. Join us. We are live. Join us. And I want to share with you all that just to remind everyone of the mission of Light It Up Kids TV. And that mission is to give children a voice, right? So they can use their voices to impact their schools, their families, and their communities. Our purpose for Talk About It Tuesday, that is to have a platform so the parents and the village of our kindergarten through fifth grade children, that they can have a place where we can talk about just real, raw discussion, the accomplishments, the good things, the challenges that our kindergarten through fifth grade children face, along with the family and the village that supports them. So spread the word, you all. Join us. We'll give it about another 2 more minutes. If you are joining in, say hello to me. Say hello to me. Let's see. I see people on. Y'all say hello to me. Say hello to me. Okay. I also want to remind you all that we have a brand new episode of Find Your Voice Friday that will be coming out on next week. Listen, our children, they are so close and dear to our hearts, to my heart, and they have been doing a wonderful job talking about just sharing their hearts about kindness, about bullying. So that is every last Friday in the month. Our children we have kids co-hosts, and they're on joining us. All right, we have about 1 minute left. Hi, Felicia. Thank you so much for joining. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thank you. Let's see. I also want to share with you our topic for tonight. If you're just joining in, hi, Lou. Thank you so much for joining us. Hi, Rhonda. Thank you so much for joining us. If you all are just joining, thank you for saying hello as well, right? If you are just joining us, our topic tonight is military life and our kindergarten through fifth grade children and their families. I also want you to share this video out. Let everyone know that we are live. We are live. We are here for this discussion on this evening. So Yes, share the video out. Let others know that we are live. All right. That is our time. All right, that is our time. All right, listen. Welcome again to another episode of Talk About It Tuesday. Talk About It Tuesday. All right, I am so excited for this episode because we're talking tonight about military life in our kindergarten through fifth grade children. One of the reasons why I wanted to do this, why I believe the Holy Spirit led me to do this topic is because sometimes we may not think about the sacrifices that our military, the people that serve in our military, that they have to make. And not only them, but the sacrifices that them and their families and their children, right? Everyone is involved with that person being in the military. Sometimes, a lot of times, we may not think about that they serve for the freedoms that we have. And in honor of Veterans Day, thank you to all of our veterans that have served, the individuals that are currently serving. Thank you all so much for your service. We appreciate you all. Thank you. Thank you. So because of that, we have this topic on this evening, military life and our kindergarten through fifth grade children. Let's talk about it. All right. So here we are. We are going to bring in our guest tonight. We have our guest, and that is we have First Sergeant, let's see, let me make sure that retired First Sergeant Sylvester Jenkins and his wife Denise Jenkins. So thank you all so much. All right. Thank you all. I appreciate you all being on. I know everyone's time is so valuable. So thank you all so much. Thank you. Yes, y'all look good too.
Thank you.
Y'all look good. So listen, for the people that don't know you all, I'm gonna let you all introduce yourselves. Before you do that, I want to, if you're on and you have not subscribed to our YouTube channel, do that. All right, do that so you can be able to get these reminders when we go live and when these wonderful topics are when we're actually having these wonderful discussions. Okay. So make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel and stay tuned because I'm going to tell you about our coat and toy drive that we will be having. So we'll share that at the end to make sure that we let everyone know about that. All right. So we have retired First Sergeant Sylvester Jenkins and his beautiful, wonderful wife, Denise Jenkins. Tell us a little who you are. Tell us about your family. About a little bit in a nutshell, your military background. So tell us a little bit about who are you?
Absolutely. Well, first off, thank you so much for having us. It's an honor and a privilege to have the opportunity to share our stories and shed light on the sacrifices and the blessings that come from the military, but then also to especially honor those who serve. So just like you said earlier, I'm a retired First Sergeant, 21 years of dedicated service. 5 combat tours, 4 to Iraq, 1 to Afghanistan, and just a little bit about my background of growing up. I grew up in a rough neighborhood, and the military was my way out. During my time in the military, I seen that it gave me a sense of structure and purpose, especially during those challenging years of my life. But now I recently became a pastor over at Mosaic Church, and now I focus on ministry and outreach, helping others to find a sense of hope and resilience and who God created them to be. That's a little bit about me.
And I want to share, if you all have not seen retired First Sergeant Pastor Sylvester, if you have not seen his messages that he's been giving, you all go find him on Facebook because I'm not just sharing. We didn't even talk about this, but it blessed me. Like whenever I happen to see Denise share, but it blessed me. His story, he has a powerful story. I don't know if you all are familiar with the Christian Broadcast Network, Lou, Rhonda, you all. I don't know if you are familiar, but his story was broadcasted on CBN, and that's big. Okay. And so I was just like, wow, his story hits home. It hits home, not just for military, but for all lives. So I just want to share that as we get into it. Make sure that you all get to follow him and listen to some of his messages. You won't be disappointed. All right, go ahead. All right, First Lady, Miss Denise, go ahead.
Well, hi, Cheryl. It's good to
Hi.
see you. Listen, I just want to thank you for this opportunity. I'm a veteran myself, a mom of 4 beautiful children. I decided to join the Army. It was just my way out of the country and on to what I thought was a better life. But that led me to Jesus. And that's just the most important thing to me right now today is my relationship with the Lord and sharing that with other people. So.
Yes, I love that. Love that. And I'm so glad you have 4 children.
Yes.
What are their ages? If you don't mind sharing, what are their ages?
Of course.
And
So
are they
our
boys?
oldest.
You got the one girl, right?
Yes, we did finally. Thank God. Yes. So we have an 18-year-old, we have a 17-year-old, a 12-year-old, and then they're all boys. And my last one, the 7-year-old, is a girl.
18, 17, what's
12 and
12
7.
and 7. Yes. Oh my goodness, hats off. You all
Thank you.
But you all are doing a wonderful job. So that's what we're going to talk about. So you all know firsthand, not only, thank you all, if you're just joining us, we have retired First Sergeant Sylvester Jenkins and his wife, Denise Jenkins, that are joining us to talk about military life and kindergarten through 5th grade children. We're going to talk about the military life, their families, the children, the benefits, the challenges. So join in, tag a friend, share the video out, let everyone know to join in, especially this is something, if you work with military children or you have part of military family, you may not know exactly some of those things that they deal with, right? And so you may not, because when people are close to you, sometimes we take that for granted, right? So share this video out. We want, if you have any questions, go ahead and ask the questions now. If you have any question for our host, drop them in. If you have any question as we go along, drop them in the chat. All right. So first off, let's go ahead and get into let's dig into our discussion. I wanted to say, what does it look like when because you both were in the military? Is that correct? Were you both in the military at the same time? And so that was one of the things that I was intrigued. And I remember, Denise, knowing you for, quite some time. I remember man, she's in the military and she has kids. So I want to know, what did that look like? How did that work? What did that look like with your kids being so young? And let us know, were both of you all in the military at the same time with the kids?
Yes.
Wow. Okay. So tell us a little bit about that. What did that look like?
So we started out serving in the military at the same time. Man, a lot of coordination, a lot of moving parts, patience. Oh my God, flexibility. Especially having young kids. Our kids were young. Right. I think they were 1 and 2. Our 2 oldest ones. Yeah. Sometimes one of us would be deployed, or stationed somewhere else, and we really had to rely heavily on each other and just be each other's support system, just to keep things going smoothly. And also, we got to shout out our parents because they were definitely really? Our backbones. A great support system at that time as well.
Yeah. So. Go ahead, First Sergeant. No, go ahead. Go ahead.
I was just going to say it was definitely a balancing act, right? There were times where, like she said earlier, I'd be overseas and Denise had to manage the whole house on her own. And we had to learn to really communicate effectively and really trust each other, even when we were 1,000 miles apart. So it was challenging times, but we made it through.
Yes.
Yeah, because I'm thinking, let's be real, family. All right. It's challenging enough when you right here to coordinate and to talk and to moving pieces, right? And to manage children. So you're talking about being in the military and being deployed. So now, Denise, where were you all located? Were you deployed and had the kids, or did your parents keep the kids? How did that work? Did they stay with you all, or how did that work?
Well, no, they went to our parents.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we deployed.
Okay.
The military has the family care plan that we have to have in place. And so that was ours, our parents here.
Wow. Wow. So you all, the kids were 1 and 2, and the sacrifice in which we're going to get into is that you all were deployed, serving our country, both of you all, and families had to step in and be that support system for your children.
Yes.
Thank y'all. How was that, Denise, as a mom?
Oh, it was challenging for me, because I felt guilty a lot. I felt guilty all the time. And it's just, just as a parent, you don't want to leave your kids. And I know I was living with my parents and I trusted, his mom, I trusted my mom, but it was still hard because your kids weren't with you,
Yeah.
It was almost like, you just leaving a piece of your heart, not being able to just contact them as much as you would like, or them seeing you, you kind of worried about how that relationship would go. They would forget you, or if it would be strange coming back, and we did, deal with a lot of disconnection with our children, and it took a lot of intentionality just to, work out that relationship really, because I think our kids, even now, right now, today, even our oldest ones, they do not like us leaving.
Really?
Yeah, they don't like us leaving. Yeah.
Wow. You all, if you're just joining us, we're talking about military life and our kindergarten through 5th grade children and the sacrifices, the benefits, but some of the challenges that the military families face as they are serving our country with us, right? For us, and serving our country, and we're here reaping the benefits. So we want to just get a little insight that might help us to actually just see, hey, just understand a little bit better. So, Pastor Sylvester, is there anything you want to share on that?
No, I think if we're talking about sacrifices, I think one of the biggest things that we had to sacrifice was time.
Yeah.
Wherever you spend your time, you don't get that back. You can't make up that time that you lost. And we missed a lot of birthdays. We missed holidays. Those little small moments that kids have. Being able to pour into them, like right there, being present. There was times where we had to leave for deployment, and by the time we come back, our kids had grown, and that's a whole year gone, that you just missed. And it's heartbreaking when you experience those moments, because you missed a lot of their milestones, like when they graduate from kindergarten and their first day of school, all those things, you miss those. You get photos, you get little videos, but you're not there. So that was one of the biggest sacrifices that I think both of us had to make, was time.
Yeah. So if you listen, audience, if you're part of a military family, what has been some of your sacrifices, okay, by both you as the parent and the children, or if you know of a military family, what has been some of the sacrifices? I want to share that is, I never thought about that. So we know that we think, and has any of you, our audience, thought about that? We know that our military families, people that are in the military go and serve, but how many times do we ever think that, they have children, and that time, just like you all said, the time, that is one of the biggest sacrifices. And I think we know it, but we're not conscious of it. Does that mean, is not aware? Like we know that when you all go to serve, that you all are away from your families, but are we conscious as a community? Are we conscious, and do we know, conscious and realize that this is a sacrifice? It's even the small moments that sometimes we are parents that are not serving may take for granted, right? You all are saying that was one of the biggest sacrifices. So thank you all for sharing that. You just said about your support system, and you talked about that and having that all the time. So how long did you serve? I know First Sergeant said he served 21 years. Is that right? Mm-hmm. And then Denise, what about you? How long did you serve?
I did 11 years.
Wow, you did 11 years. Yes, so, and throughout the whole time, was that was your parents that's where the kids were throughout the entire time?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Wow. Wow.
Yes.
Okay. So how often, tell us a little bit, like how often did you all come home? What was that system like? Y'all just set up like video calls? Were y'all able, or were y'all in a place where you could contact them by video? How often did y'all have that contact there?
It was so during the deployment.
Yeah.
Initially, well, when I went, it was a bit more advanced. So
Okay.
we
Okay.
definitely had we had I can't remember what it was called, but the little place where you can go in and make your phone calls, or get on a computer and log in and see your family, or even if you had, I was fortunate enough, I had my own computer in my room, so
Yeah.
Oh wow.
I was
Oh wow.
able to contact my family as much as I like to. And then they had little programs where you could just read books, and
Oh, yeah.
they would send it back to your family. They would record you reading
Wow.
a book, and they would send it back to your family.
Oh
Yeah.
wow.
So I was pretty blessed being deployed where I was deployed too. I hadn't been
Okay.
to all the places he had been, you know, which is
Okay. Okay.
a bit more rough. But
Uh-huh.
yeah, I was fortunate enough to have, you know, those I want to say amenities, you know.
Right. Right.
That, you know, yeah.
Yeah, it was a
Okay.
huge upgrade in technology when she started deploying. You know, that's when like Skype
Yeah.
was the big thing,
Uh-huh.
And Yahoo
and
Messenger.
Yahoo Messenger.
Yeah.
Like,
Really?
during that
Yeah.
time,
Wow.
so it was
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So it was very beneficial during that time. But initially, I was during that era of calling cards, where you had you know,
Yes.
be on the actual phone with the
Yeah.
cord, like a
Uh-huh.
payphone. Yeah, I was
Exactly.
in there, so we never had no actual interaction and things like that. So
Yeah.
I mean, but that was something that we did. Try to do it like at least every night, but when those times didn't
Okay.
come, we at least try to do at least once a week to
Yeah.
like 3 times a month.
Wow. Okay. That's good. Wow. So you were, Denise was more fortunate. I want to make sure I'm
Yeah,
understanding. And and Pastor Sylvester, you made it work with what we had back
yeah,
then, right?
yeah,
Okay, I see Miss. Hey, Miss Shirley, how are
yeah.
you? And she said it was a blessing to have that space or available to help in that capacity as grandparents.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank
Shout,
you,
my
God,
mama
for
was
wisdom as
came
always.
through every
Wow.
single time. Every
Wow.
single time. So
Thank you
big
for
shout out
sharing that, Miss
to my mom.
Shirley. Yeah. Miss Shirley, and yeah, that thank you for sharing that, because that's really good that that you're on and be able to like saying that it was a blessing to be able to share, to have that space and to in that capacity as grandparents to be able to do so, because some grandparents like Miss Shirley does not have that capacity,
Right.
right?
Yes.
They're just
Yeah.
not able to. So yes, that is a blessing. Thank you, thank you. And it takes that's where that village comes in at.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's it.
Absolutely.
Need the village. They need
Yes.
they need village. All right. So what about this? What are some of the benefits? We know there's some of the sacrifices. What are some of the benefits of for the parents and the children that may not be something that we may not know, that not easily notice, right? For the your parent, you as a parents and the children.
You want to start off?
Yeah, so I think the military community is like truly something special. It's a special network, if I want to say so myself. They understand the unique challenges that we experience and try to put a lot of things in place, programs, and I want to say other things in order to, like, they got something called the FRG, the Family Readiness Group, where they will connect like the mothers or other single parents who possibly have that loved one that's deploying or anything like that, to be a support system to them if they don't have family present there or around in the general area. And then I say another benefit that played a huge part was just our faith. You know, that played a huge part as far as keeping us grounded. Church family, being able, when we had those opportunities to have a little downtime from the military, to be able to go out on date nights and things like that. And so just keeping strong when times got tough, man, you know, the Lord really came through for us.
Yeah.
Wow, that's good. So I didn't. Okay, so were you all in the same place deployed?
Yes.
Yes.
You all. So you all always went to the same deployment.
Not always. Just our last two deployments, we were together.
That was good. Okay, and then before that, it was you were someplace, Denise. He was someplace, and then your parents had the children. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's a whole nother question. But how you look? Another question. All right, listen, because we know it's challenging when we have our spouses right here to try to keep that connection.
Yes.
Yeah.
How did y'all do that? Wow,
Yeah.
y'all. Now that's a big sacrifice too.
Yes.
Man,
Yes.
little do you know.
Yes.
That's a big sacrifice.
Little do you know.
Yes.
Again, that's one of those things. I see Christina said, I remember getting those calls from my brother. Love the military community. Oh, wow. So you would get the calls, I guess what you were just saying, Pastor, about the calls that you all were able to do. And yes. And so Christina said she remember getting those calls from her brother. That's good. The military community and those services that they provide. If you have any questions, you all, because this wasn't one that I thought about earlier, but now that I'm on here, I thought about this. That's a big sacrifice. If you all have any questions for Pastor Sylvester and Denise, go ahead and drop it in the chat. Also, if you are a part of a military family, let us know what are some of the benefits for the military what the military life was for you and your children. Okay, what are the benefits of being in the military for you and your children? Okay, let us know. Even if you're a grandparent like Miss Charlene, let us know what that experience was. If you haven't thought about these sacrifices, then share this out. That means that somebody else probably hadn't either. Okay, share this out. How did y'all make it?
I did want to add something as far as another benefit that it just came to mind, and I would say that often get overlooked is the exposure to different cultures.
Yeah,
we got to experience a lot of things. Our kids got to experience multiple cultures, so that kind of exposure helped them to develop a broader perspective on life. It wasn't isolated to one type of environment, so therefore when they interact with other people, they was able to have a level of empathy and be more adaptable in those environments to be able to cope with certain situations. So I thought that was great.
Yeah, and you know what? I'm so glad you mentioned that, because one of the things we talk about with our young children, when they're not exposed, some of the times being a early childhood elementary educator, is what I see is that when they don't know about a different culture, then sometimes tend to be not as nice, or you don't know, right? But whenever you've been exposed to it, just like you said, you're welcome and you understand, you take that in. So that is, I'm glad you mentioned that as a benefit of being in the military. So you all were able to bring those experiences back. Were they ever able to go with you all, or were you able to just bring some of those experiences back with them for them?
So we was able to take them when we went to Hawaii.
Wow.
Location. So they got to interact with a lot of the locals out there. Go to school with them, be friends with them. So they develop a level of social awareness dealing with their culture.
That's
and
good.
Just I'm talking about, like, I think our oldest son still got friends that he communicate with to this day.
Really?
And it's been like over 8 years since we initially left from over there.
That is amazing. Yes. See, he's going, and I'm still trying to make it there. Listen, if you're joining us, we're talking about military life and our kindergarten through fifth grade children. So now I wanted to ask you all, thank you for sharing those benefits. I wanted to ask you all, is there something like a significant story or experience with you or your children from being in the military that you would say is maybe like most memorable, or that played a big factor in your family? Is there anything that throughout the years that you could say, this was one thing that I would say was very memorable? This is the thing that played a big factor in a part of our family.
I would say for me, when I was at the crossroads of deciding on if I was going to stay in or and continue my career, or if I was going to get out to give my family, to give our family a more stable foundation. And because I felt like we just didn't have that relationship with our children. And it really ate me up. And so that was a really significant time for me, because I was successful in the military, you know, and the benefits of the military, what you're able to provide, you know, the lifestyle, you know, different. I mean, it was really good, but my family was more important to me. So that was kind of like one of those times in life that was really significant. And the decision I needed to make was, you know, it weighed heavy on me. So I would say that was a significant time for me, you know, doing my military career. I was right at that mark, you know, the decision where at the 10-year mark, people are usually deciding whether they're going to do the next 10 years and retire.
Wow.
And I was right there at that time. And I was just like, you know what? I was telling him, we talked about it. We prayed about it. I took 30 days leave and we really, I really prayed about it. I was just like, I really believe that one of us is going to have to give this up in order to give our family a better, you know, a more solid foundation and to be able to build that bond and that relationship with our children, which I really felt that it lacked at that time.
I think that was the best decision. It was kind of bittersweet initially when she brought it to my attention because I was looking at the financial benefits behind it.
Real.
I was like, no, I was trying to convince her to stay in. I was telling her how successful she was. I was pumping her up, letting her know how far we can go, all the things that we can do financially. But it was the best decision that we ever made because our kids really needed one of us to be present during that time frame. And I know they need that nurturing, that love and care from a mother. And I would be able to continue to be an example, a provider, protector, and show that provision and lead my family. So it was one of the best things that we did as far as her transition out.
Wow. That is so good. I can only imagine, right? I can only imagine being at those crossroads, Denise. That's something very pivotal, but hats off to you. We talk a lot about a lot of times our parents here on Light Up TV, and I see we have we have a question and a comment that I'll read. But a lot of the families here and the parents ask the question, how do we do it all? Right? Like there's so much as parents, but mothers where, you know, when they have so many different hats, and how do we do it all? And that's one of those pivotal focal points in your life, because one of the main things we emphasize is being present.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like they're the power of being present, right? And you made that decision. How tough it was, you made that decision. You all both made that decision to be present, because I love what Pastor Sylvester said. The real life is like, it's you know, we talking about income, right?
Right, correct.
That's real, like that, and that's what we want this real raw discussion. Like we're talking about income, right? And having to make that decision. So thank y'all for sharing that. I see Lou. That was the question I had too. Lou said, "How old were your children when you all left the military? When you left, Denise, how old were the children when you all left?
For the military, or
when you got out?"
Oh, they were Emmanuel was, I don't even know, back in 2013. I need a calculator. It was back in 2013. No, Alex was almost one.
Alex was one.
No, he was almost one. Alex was almost one.
And the other two elementary school.
So Sean.
Okay. I think they were there. I would say they was in elementary school. So
I need a calculator.
I don't think they was even in like 6.
Wait, Emmanuel was 7. Emmanuel was 7. 6 and 7 years old. Yeah.
Okay.
I have to put a calculation in my mind.
So 6 and 7 years old. So they were. So that's wow. So y'all were able to catch those right there at that elementary before they went to upper elementary. So so that's wow. Okay, so I thought that they might have been older, so that's good that you got out that early. Okay. And see, Rhonda said one child born in Alaska. Wow. One child graduated high school in Seoul, Korea. Wow. And one child currently lives in Germany as an adult, because I was stationed in Germany for 13 years. I love their diversity. That's one of the benefits, as you say. Wow. You're talking about Alaska, Seoul, Korea, and
Right.
Germany. Wow, the diversity. So that is one benefit. Thank you, Rhonda, for sharing. One benefit that the military gives is that diversity. Right. That diversity, like you all were saying, the cultural diversity.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so let's see. So here we are. I researched, and I want you to tell me how these affect you all. You audience, I'm going to read. Oh, let us know how you that. Thank you, Christina. How you keep your child's academic achievement up as a military family. How did you all do that as a military family? Audience, Rhonda, let us know, how did you all keep their academic achievement up if you all were deployed and you all away? How did you all do that with being deployed as a military family? How did you all do that?
Cheryl, I'm going to keep it real with you, okay? I'm going to keep it real.
This is real.
It was a challenge.
Yeah.
It was a challenge.
Yeah.
I think with our first two, we were much more structured.
Yeah.
And more strict, and we stayed after them. We really enforced education, and we still do now, the importance, but we tired.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we still stress the importance of it, but the message just shifted.
Yeah.
You know, we know you're able to do the best you can, but our first two kids, they were definitely academically. Emmanuel was very articulate.
Yeah,
he's always been very smart, and likewise with Sean.
Yeah.
But these last two, we still praying through that. Okay.
Yeah.
That's right. That's real, right? That is real, because you all have like all the years you have served it now. Like, okay, now listen, right? Like, that is so real. What about you all, audience? Like, what have you all experienced with that? Is it the same thing? Is it similar, different? Let us know. All right, Pastor Sylvester, what you want to say?
Yeah, I was going to say, it's like she said, it was very challenging. I would say that we got to a point where we have really poured into our kids enough to let them know that their grades doesn't define them.
Yeah.
And, what their character does. So we focus on their character and their efforts. So we say, if you score this in your class, how much effort are you giving compared to how much work are you putting into? So we focus more on effort and character, them being a servant while they're in school, are they being friendly, are they being kind?
Right.
More than we just focus on if they make honor roll and all these other things.
And we do stress the importance, because education is important.
Yeah.
It serves its purpose. And so we preach to them, give it your best.
Yeah.
You may not understand, because a teacher may not teach in a way that is fitting for your learning style.
Yes.
However, you can benefit from it. Focus on how you can benefit from it.
Yeah.
And just give it your best. And that's our message now. Sure, we aren't as strict.
No,
but our message is, hey, give it your best. And to be honest, because you think about it, we both work. We're working parents, right? You think by the time we get home, it's about what? 5:30, 5:45.
Yeah.
You got to think about all the other parts we play. Dinner, prepared for the next day. Studying, reading, especially if you have multiple kids. We have two kids. We have a 12-year-old and the 7-year-old that's still in school. And there's a lot of work between those two,
Yeah, yes.
Man, we thought about it, like we spent a lot of time, and it didn't really hit us until COVID.
Yeah.
I mean, COVID. Cheryl, I gotta tell you the truth. I had a belt around my neck at that table.
Yeah.
I kept a belt around my neck.
Anybody else can relate? Let us know. Let us know if you can relate.
I was like, God bless these teachers.
Yeah.
We always respect the school system and the teachers, but we discovered a newfound respect for those teachers.
Newfound respect.
Okay. And so it's kind of that shifted things for us during COVID. And I was like, you know what? After COVID, I kind of felt bad, because we were really, at the time, and on me, I really didn't pay attention to how stressed the kids were too.
Yeah.
Trying to adjust to learning on a computer, not being face to face, not being present in a classroom. You know what I mean, with other children. I didn't think about that then. I was like, hey, this work done. So it was a lesson learned for me.
Absolutely.
Yeah. That is so good. Anyone else that did COVID shift that thinking for you all, because that's good. I mean, that understanding, just that awareness of with your children and the workload. Because I'm going to say something. I see Miss Shirley have a comment that I definitely want to get to. But listen, as a grandparent, you know what my kids say now? You sure not you were so strict on us with our education, and now with the grands, that's my motto too. So when you were saying it, I'm like, you do your best. You give an effort 100%, and if it's your best, they were like, well, that's not what you told us, right? But the message shifted. Education is still important, but it, like Pastor said, it doesn't define who they are, right? We know that God put different gifts and talents
and that's what
in them, right? And at the end of the day, they're going through these classes, but that's how you understand. We want them to excel, we want them to do well, but however, we know we're focusing on the gifts that God gave them.
Right, and that's one of the things we tell Riley and Alex, even now with all of our kids, but Riley and Alex is still in that in school, and so we tell them the most important place you can be is in the will of God. Is to know, what God has purposed you to do, because you can, as parents, we can start cultivating that now in our children. And so we get them to focus on that too. How can you be impactful, or how can you, where you are in your class? Because school is going to be over. School is going to pass. You're going to graduate. You may or may not go to college. You may or may not use what you've learned, in school. But the most important thing is am I walking in my purpose?
Yes, that's it.
Teach kids, because that's something that needs to be, especially now.
Yes,
I think the agenda that's being put on the front street for our children. That's one of the things we stress, like it's God and being in the will of God.
So good. I love that. You all, what about you all? If you have any questions for our host, but also what is your method even with academics now with your children? What did you all see with during COVID time? I love what you all said. Let us know how you keep your child academic achievement up. Did your message change? Did COVID enlighten you to see, did that message change, right? Because that's so good. Thank you for sharing that, Denise, and just being open about that, because I guarantee you there's some people that feel the same way, that felt the same way. Miss Shirley, and I want to bring her comment up. And it says, I love this. As a grandparent too, so she might make me get emotional here. Let's say that the time is short with them before dad and mom comes back. So you got to take advantage of that time. Then to impart and influence them with biblical and practical teaching to grow up to be respectful children and character as adults. That would impact their lives forever. Keeping them on the course that dad and mom will be proud of who they become when they get back. Wow. And you know what? As I was reading that, I thought about military life not only affects. And when I did this, when I was writing and thinking and meditating on these questions, I was just thinking about your immediate family, you and the kids. But I didn't realize how there's an impact even that spreads abroad, even to the support system.
Great point.
So the impact is not just immediate. It's not just that immediate family of the parents and the children. That impact that the military life has, it spreads abroad, right?
It does.
Even to the support system. And thank you so much, Ms. Shirley, because that's it. That hit that support system on the head. And when you have a support system like that, I want to know, Rhonda, did you all have support system? Other people in the military, did you all have that support system as well? There are a lot of people that may not have had that, right? Yes, Ms. Shirley says. All right, I'm going to, as we are getting ready to close, I'm just going to read a few of these statements. You tell me whether they, and audience, you as well, let me know whether any of these affected you all, whether you agree, just tell me your thoughts and insights as it relates to your military life and the children, okay? So here we are. So, and these are some of the statements that you let me know are there. We're going to see the similarities and differences in the responses, all right? So Deployments and separation sometimes can pose an increased risk with children and or parents with stress, mood, and behavior issues.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, totally agree.
There was a time when we got our oldest, Emmanuel, we got him counseling as a kid. We just couldn't connect or understand, where he was. And we felt like there was a gap, like a gap that was missing.
Wow.
And so that was really, we just wanted to, just help him as best as we could. And I feel like sometimes as parents, I think it's societal pressure that we should have all the answers.
Yeah.
To be the best parents is having the answers, but sometimes as parents, we don't have the answers.
Right.
We're learning too.
Yeah.
As we're rearing our kids, we're learning too. So we definitely reached out to a therapist.
And
got him counseling, which really it opened our eyes to a lot of things.
Yes.
It also helped him process through a lot of the emotions that he couldn't quite understand or articulate to us. So.
And you know what? I want to share because I want teachers to know, because a lot of times our educators, we have military children in our family, and we may be unaware of these things. And these are actual, I would say, thoughts, or they're real feelings and emotions and that come along with being with you when your family is deployed. So I do believe that the schools now have a little more of resources, information that they're given now. But individual teachers, I think that we need to always make sure that we are aware of when we have military children in our classes. All right, I see that Lady Bilbo said, true. When we were stationed in Alaska for 3 years, hubby was in Iraq majority of the trip. So it left me to deal with processing through emotions, school, and me working myself. Wow. Yeah. So he was in there for Alaska for 3 years. Yeah, which they were stationed in Alaska for 3 years, and hubby was in Iraq. Wow. So you were away in Alaska away from your support system.
Right.
And then hubby got deployed. You see, that's old. The kids are with you. And sound like she's saying the kids are with her, and it left her there to process through those. Okay. Thank you for sharing that, lady. But yes, okay. She said the kids were with her. Wow. Okay. What about this one? Let's see. Well, this one I think y'all might have already. School-age children experience an increase in fears, worries, difficulty concentrating. I think that maybe sort of along there.
Absolutely. So I don't know if you can speak on this too, but back in 2018, was that the last time you deployed, right?
Yeah.
So back in 2018, of course, I was already out of the military, deployed, and so Alex was 5,
like
6 years old, and oh my gosh, Cheryl, I was so naive. I did not expect him to respond to his daddy leaving the way that he did.
Wow.
And initially, I was like, better. I just chopped it as behavioral.
Right.
Really deal with the fact that his daddy was not there.
Yeah.
And it was another learning opportunity for me.
Yeah.
Again, his teachers were, oh my God, hats off to the
wow.
teachers. Oh my God, that she recommended counseling. They had a military, I can't remember what it's called, some military counseling that was there, that was readily available for kids whose parents were deployed.
Wow, that's good.
One of those benefits. And it really helped me with Alex, because Alex had a lot of behavioral problems because of the emotions that he was at 6 years old couldn't really express or know how to articulate or even explain.
Right.
And so it was really, really, really helpful, because it was some mornings where, listen, I made it by the hair of my chinny chin chin.
Yeah.
Tears and prayers. Okay.
Yeah.
I was in school and working.
Wow.
And listen, in we had just got to Tennessee. I didn't know anybody.
Wow.
Didn't have any type of anybody can call and be like, hey, can you help me out just for a couple of hours? I didn't have any of that. So
Wow.
yes, I can definitely relate to it. Wasn't in Alaska, but I can definitely relate to lady, was it Bilbo? Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Wow.
That was challenging for me. That time was really challenging for me. Not knowing what to do. I was like, oh my gosh, I didn't really, honest, to be quite honest, and this being, really,
Yes.
I don't know what to do. Yeah.
Yeah, that is so good, Denise. Like, yes, like being able to share. Like, there are those times where, ooh, and you saying that you thought that it was behavior, but it was really him not knowing how to articulate it at that young
Correct.
age,
Yeah.
right?
Yes.
And what he was thinking, what he was feeling, and so I'm
Right.
so
Yeah.
glad that the resources were there. Now, that was that in Tennessee.
In Tennessee, yes, at Fort Campbell.
I'm so glad that the resources were there. Now I see, Pastor, I want to ask a question to you, but I see Rhonda said, my mom lived with me at every duty station. She cared for my babies until they were old enough to talk before we put them into daycare. Wow. She gave and put her life on pause, on step, and took care of my kids. Wow. Hats off. Look at the support system you all did. I guess for my audience, that did you all realize that that is needed when our men and women are over there serving? Did you realize that these are the things that they need? I didn't. I'll be honest, right? I knew again, but I wasn't aware. I knew they went over there and somebody had to be, keeping the kids, or either they went with them, but bringing that awareness to the military life. Thank you, Rhonda, for sharing that. Pastor, can you talk a little bit as we are closing? I want to do the benefits, but can you talk a little bit about with you? How was it coming back in with the kids, with the family? A little bit about that.
Yeah.
What was your? How are you? Like, was it difficult transitioning that from military back in? Just tell us a little bit about that, or even when you would go and come, right? What was that like, for you?
Absolutely. So for me, coming back from those deployments, it was a whole new experience. You think sometimes when you go on deployments, it's roughly about 9 months to a year, and so many things happen. People grow, people change. They doesn't see the same thing. You might have left holding your child hand, but when you're coming back now, they at a stage of their life where it's no longer cool to hold hands.
Right.
They might be off doing other things like hanging with their friends. You probably want a little quality time with them, spend some one-on-one, just to reconnect and do all those things. But they teenagers now, so they ain't really about that life anymore. And then when it comes down to the relationship, the marriage, man, it's hard to really. You got to start all over from scratch. When I say I'm talking about the courting, the dating, you literally have to start all over from scratch. You got to fall in love all over again.
Wow.
Because you during the time frame of you being deployed, you're married, but the level of intimacy, engagement, the emotional connection, all of that stuff, it dies down. It's like you're really just going through the motions of honoring God throughout your marriage, but then once you come back, you really have to rekindle everything from the start. Like you got to start all over from scratch. So imagine doing that. So like I said, I was deployed 5 times. So imagine doing that. Home a year, gone a year, rekindling your marriage. Home a year, gone a year, rekindling your marriage. It's just being very intentional in those areas where it matters most.
Wow. That is so good. Wow. Yeah, because you're right. Like, and I love the analogy. I love how you shared that and explain that. That is just like starting over every time. I didn't think about that. Yeah. If you all, we want to say thank you. As I want you all to think about some last words. Okay, lady. I'm going to read Lady Bilbo's question. I want you all to think about some last words that you want to just share about military life, or just what people might need to just be aware of, to bring awareness that they may not know of with the parents, with the kindergarten through 5th grade children. Just share with us some of that, because we know there are many benefits to the military, as we said, about the cultural differences, and our kids being able to be, the military children being able to be more flexible, right? Like they learn resilience more. I want you to think about last words. Lady Bilbo says, I got to face this as a military child. Wow. And then got to experience it as a military wife. 45 years of this life.
Yeah.
Woo! Wow. 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 That's wow. Thank you for sharing that, Lady Bilbo. Thank you for sharing that. That is that you faced it, and then as a child, and then as a military wife, there again. So I can only imagine what those emotions were. Right, I can only imagine what those emotions were. Listen, we have enjoyed this. I want you to put a hashtag military matters. Okay, military matters. Go ahead and drop that in there for me. Military matters. As we come out, we want to give Pastor, I want to say thank you to retired First Sergeant Pastor Sylvester Jenkins and Denise for joining us and sharing with us and just be having that open, real dialogue. Lady Bilbo says they learn resilience and adapting as military children.
Yeah.
That is very good. That is good. And also that was one of the things that I saw in adapting and being able to cope. That's one of the things that is said, being able to cope in different situations, that those coping skills are a lot more sharp. They're sharper with military children because they've had to cope with the adjusting and with the family and with the school. So yes, she said, thank y'all. Good stuff. Thank you so much. Military matters. Thank you so much for all joining us. Share this video out because I guarantee there's somebody that needs to. It's not by happenstance. There's someone that could definitely benefit, whether they're a teacher, whether they're a youth leader, whether they're actually a military veteran, military now, like there's somebody that I believe that can benefit from this. Last words, and then I want to share with you all about our coat and toy drive. All right, last words, you all, I guess.
Yeah, so I think I can speak for both of us when I say the military, it has multiple challenges, but it can be incredibly rewarding as well.
Yeah.
It's not easy, but it made us like stronger as a family.
Yeah.
And we learned to like really rely on each other to grow through the hard times and to celebrate the victory. So no matter how small or how big, we learn to trust God and just get through it together as one.
Yes.
Absolutely. That's good. Celebrate the victories. I like that. That's a word right there, right? Trust God, celebrate the victories. Thank you all. I see Ms. Rhonda says it's a great conversation. Thank both of you for your service. Lou says, thank you for sharing your experiences in the military. All right. Thank you. Before you all go, we want to tell you all about our stay on. Listen, don't go yet. Listen, I know you already thought yes, but don't go yet. We have our coat and toy drive that we are doing. The reason why it's a holiday coat and toy drive during the holidays, we want our Lighted Up TV kids. We are partnering with Puretown Academy and Recharge You, and we're doing a holiday coat and toy drive. Yes, the toy. I see that, Lady Bilbo. A whole word. Holiday coat and toy drive that we are doing. And the drop-off locations, we will put the flyer up on our page. But Lighted Up TV, Puretown Academy, Recharge You, we are partnering together. We'll put the list of toys up, and we want our children to think about, we're partnering with a family, emergency family shelter, Homeless No More. It's an emergency shelter for homeless women, the children, and their families. We want our children during this holiday season to think about Jesus first, others, and then themselves. We want to foster in them a sense of community. Okay. And thinking about others, right? It's not just all about us. So you all partner with us. Get something on the list. So we want to be a blessing to these families that may not be as fortunate as we are. Okay. So Jesus, others, and then yourself. So thank you for in advance for the ones that are going to be getting some things, dropping it off at Recharge You and Puretown Academy. And you have until December 2nd. December 2nd you have, because they're going to be doing their shopping for the holiday immediately after that. All right. So December 2nd, donations will be accepted through December 2nd. That's it, guys. Thank you all so much for partnering in advance. We will Yes, we'll be posting those things on our page. Miss Shirley said, great conversation with great people. Yes, they are. Yes, they are. Lady Bibble, Jesus other than yourself. That's what brings us joy. That's what we want our kids
That's
to.
awesome.
That's what we want our kids to be able to feel, the joy of Jesus, others, and then ourselves. All right, that's it. Until next time, family and friends, remember to light it up.
Yes.